Just give me a buzz. Lean on me, yeah. When you're not strong, and I'll be your friend.
And we're back again, Eduardo Live, another empowering Monday with Ipek Williamson, all the way from Canada, right?
Yes, Ontario.
Ontario in Canada. And I will read up a little, I will read up your profile from LinkedIn. I help you connect with your confident self and authentically express your creativity. I like that. Inside coach, listener, and these two things, I'm not sure if I will pronounce them right, but I will give it a try. Ho'oponopono practitioner, Ikigai coach.
Yes.
So please tell us about these two things that I can't pronounce correctly. Like what is Ho'oponopono Ikigai?
Okay. So Ho'oponopono, I will try with that. Start with that. It's a Hawaiian practice about reconciliation and forgiveness. It is really helps you to connect with your inner self, inner child, to be more specific. And Ho'oponopono practice approaches this way. It says that we in ourselves have so much data and memories like built up, not only during our own lifetime, but also the lifetimes of our ancestors, generation after generation after generation. That data and memories pass from generation to the next through their DNA. And that inner child that we all have is like squished underneath and all that data. So Ho'oponopono tries to free and let that data go so that our inner child starts acting like a real child, a happy child, which helps us to get to our intuition, to our creativity, to our childlike nature. So that's the idea, like in a nutshell, about Ho'oponopono. That's what we do through that practice, through the that tool. We get to the inner child of our clients and help them to get to that forgiveness, that connection with their own selves.
Actually, I couldn't stop myself from Googling when you were like speaking because it sounded so interesting, and I found this page like that was so straightforward, like what you just said, right? And let me share it with the audience.
Okay, it's more about forgiving ourselves, starting with yes, art of forgiveness. Exactly.
The art of forgiveness. I love that expression. The technique of forgiveness that will help you get rid of restrictions, thoughts, and memories, and find peace. I love that so much. I thank you for like enlightening me into. I still can't pronounce it. That I have a hard time with some words, and I think this will be one. Like everybody will know it, or it's not. It's like like tell it again.
Ho'oponopono. You are not the only one who cannot pronounce it. It's a difficult word for sure.
Ho'oponopono. And so, and the thing was that I realized I had to forgive all these people that done me harm, and for like they did me harm, but it was like very little against what other people did me like harm, like grown-ups. They really hurted me. And that was so hard but I realized, and that what happened was that forgiving them was the easiest part, actually. That was so easy to forgive them because I realized that they made the man I am today. Believe in humanity, that is humble and try to have compassion with everybody. They built that man, And maybe I would have been like them if all this didn't happen, right? I just went along with all the hate and hating with everybody else, but I was the hated one, you know. So forgiving them was very easy, but forgiving myself for the wrongs I did in life, that was very hard. That was very, very hard. And that still today, you know, I can like have like this kind of feeling, you know, like, why did I do that in that situation, you know? And forgiving them, it actually went in a second. When that forgiveness came to me for all the people that done me wrong, it doesn't matter what they did to me. It opened my heart, like, totally. I could say that was the biggest relief I think I had in my life to this day, you know, to forgive all the people that done me wrong in life.
Yes. Well, forgiveness is like a medicine. It heals you, really. And as you said, forgiving other people is easier than forgiving ourselves all the time, every time. Because why? Because when we feel like we are at a moment where it requires some forgiving, it means that we disappointed ourselves. We are disappointed in myself. So how can I do that? How did I be able to do that? Me. So I'm disappointed in myself. And that's why it gets so harder to forgive ourselves. But without forgiving yourself, you cannot proceed with your life. You get stuck. And as soon as you can get through it, you can forgive yourself, then all the doors open because you have a clean slate in front of you. You cleansed your past and you're ready to move on. So that's why it's so important.
You know how I could forgive myself, actually? By promising myself to not do these wrongs again, you know. That is what I did. You know? I promised myself I'm a better man today. I'm more mature, you know. Like a lot of the errors that I did in my life, I was like quite young. I was like an immature man, you could say, that had a heart that was very like hateful against society because of all the wrongs that happened to me. And but I realized that I'm an intelligent man. I can't have all these grudges against because I changed. I took the possibilities. I went to university. I built an awesome career, or I wouldn't even define it as a career. I built the life that I wanted to have, and that is the life that I live today. So why should I have all this animosity to like all the things that I did wrong in life before, when I was an immature man or a child? Maybe also things that I did as a child that like I regret, right?
Yes.
But what I did is that I came to the conclusion that I can't change that. And if I ever like hurt somebody in my life, is like, if you're listening, I can tell you I'm truly sorry. Like how can I say, I really like I hope I wouldn't like done what I did, you know, like, and I'm sorry that I did, but I can't change that. Like I hope I could take that back. If I could, I would. That now I'm speaking from my heart, you know. But I have to move on. Like I have 2 children. I have like to live life. I can't live in that anymore. So that is what I did, actually, to forgive myself. I promised myself, don't do these things again, you know, that you regret. You need to move forward, Eduardo.
Yeah, that's the best thing you can do anyway. That's the best thing. I mean, because especially for the things that you did when you are younger, when you were not wise as you are today. Actually, we need to thank everything we experienced for teaching us, because we learn from them. And today, who we are is exactly the result of what we have experienced, what we went through. So when we see that from this point of view, then really negative things even turn out to be a teacher for us. So then we see the positive side of that negative thing that made us who we are today. So that's why you did the right thing. You faced everything that you thought you need to forgive, and you did, and you forgave yourself, and that because of that you are who you are today.
That might be so. And why is it so hard for us to forgive, like even others, and but mostly like ourselves? Like, why is forgiveness? Why is it so easy for us to do the opposite? Like okay, your grandfather and like they attacked our village, so we hate you. Like, why can't people let go of that? You know, like.
Yeah, I don't know, really. It's something that they need to attach themselves. Maybe it's making them feel a part of a community who hates the others. That's only explanation that I can think of.
This is what research show us when it comes to this behavior, is that it's easier for two people that hate something to bond together deeper than two people that like something
Absolutely.
together. Yeah. And that for me was when I got this like research, I was like, I understood so much, like why all these hate groups on like Facebook, why all the hate, like these hooligans, right? Like all this extreme right, left, like why all these hate groups, like on all sides, right? When we're just humans at the end, you know. And what I don't understand of people like that join this kind of hate groups is that when they go to work or they go to the store, they don't do that. That is what I don't get, because I'm a man that lives my values full out. Mm-hmm. Eduardo will be the same to you at work as I am in my free time. So this is what I don't get. Like, for me, it's like hypocritical in a sense.
Yes, it certainly is. It certainly is. And it's, I think, especially with the social media and being easily anonymous while saying mean things to other people is so easy today. So people, I think, they cannot do it in person, but it's so easy for them to release their feelings of hate and negativity online on the internet. So I think that made it so much more like everywhere. We started to see that everywhere. That's one of the main things, as we know. But why do they do that? Why don't they choose being good people, saying good things, supporting others, but saying mean things, bad things, like demeaning things to others? What do they get from it? What kind of satisfaction it gives? I'm there with you. I don't understand that. I can't.
I had Dimitri Ortiz on my show. You know Dimitri, right? He's such an amazing person, like Dimitri from Guatemala. If you don't know Dimitri, I will also put the link to Dimitri on the description of this video, because you have to watch that video. And Dimitri said something that for me was so genius. He said, Eduardo, if I have to choose between negativity and positivity, I choose positivity. That is how I do it. 7-8 years ago, I started to use the word hate. When I was speaking, I was like, I hate this president, or I hate the metro. I don't like. I hate like everything that was like annoying me. You know, I used the word hate, like I hate. And then somebody told me, like that I worked with at the time. He said, Eduardo, hate is a powerful word. Do you actually mean that? And then when he said that to me, I started to think about the word, you know, like, and I understood, like, I was actually not hating that, but saying hate, I enforced the negativity myself. And I couldn't get rid of that using this word hate. for some time, but I started to be more like reflective when I talked, and I reminded myself each time, and finally I stopped almost to use it. Actually,
That's
I
great.
try, I try not to say hate. I try not to say dislike. I try. It's so hard when you go to the news. It's so hard when you go to Facebook and all these people are like triggering you to use that, right? And it's so hard, but Dimitri said it's so good, like what you need to do is stop and reflect, because you have the choice and I do a lot of mindfulness, so I know this, you have the choice when you get that thought into your brain that creates this kind of reaction, like a feeling of something like, now I'm hateful. You have the choice what you will do from that step on. Most people don't. They just go on the autopilot.
Yes, exactly. The word hate, I agree with you 100%, is forbidden in our house. We don't use that word because, as your mentor said, it's too strong a word to use for something that we just don't like. And it became a word that everybody uses all the time, uh, without meaning really that they hate something. But at the end of the day, the vibrations you send to the universe by using that negative word uh, goes as amplified as it is, even though you don't mean it. So that's why I choose not to use that word at all. And I like force really my family, everybody in my family, not to use the word either. And it's because when you can be consciously choosing your words, when you when something you're about to say something and realize that it's going to be something negative, if you can stop just 1 second and think what you're going to say and switch the negative word with something at least neutral, even if it's not positive, at least neutral, and say that way, it changes everything. It changes how you continue your conversation, how the other person responds you. So it's all about being mindful and stopping just 1 second before saying something negative every time, and just switching a couple words and see how it goes from there. It's going to go much better than it would if you would say automatically what you thought you wanted to say.
I have two children, right, 4 and 5, like Isabel and Nicolas, and I notice what now I have to choose every word that I say very very carefully, like very carefully, right? Trying to find the words that they use to express this from like the children program that they use. So now I'm starting to say like dope, the dope or something like that, So I'm like trying to change negative words from my life. I try to do that actually consciously now
Mm-hmm.
because of my children.
Eduardo, because you have young kids, and just see them as like sponges. They are a sponge, their brains. And even the moment you think they are not watching you, they are watching you. Even if they are playing over there and you're doing your own thing, they are still listening to you. So, and from 0 to 7 years old, it's what makes them, what makes their life. So you're doing the right thing, you by being careful with with the words you use or how you act, how positive you are being, because they are learning. They are just like a sponge getting it.
So I think I will put on my wall, like in front of my big screen that I have on the other side. So when I look up, I will see this every day. I will remind myself, like,
Mm.
negativity, positivity,
Mhm.
you choose. You choose. Because we choose that.
Absolutely.
Nobody does it for us, right?
Absolutely. Life is about choices, actually.
Yes.
Life
Yes.
is the sum of our choices, really, because everything we make like hundreds and hundreds of choices per day. And why not choose the positive? Why not choose the compassion, the love and hope and all the positive things?
What amazes me is like, why don't they teach this in school?
A holistic education style is really a must to raise better generations.
Why
Because
don't they do it?
well, I think we as the people, as a society, we need to like give some pressure um, to the education systems where we live, because it's yes, they are learning good things at school, but why not learning compassion? Why not learning about being good citizens? Why not learning? Well, the most bullying is happening at schools, and even that is not solved yet. So there is a lot that education systems need to adopt to raise better generations. My son, actually, while you were talking about you getting bullied and then you were boxing and getting stronger, my son got bullied in primary school, and he was like you. He was like he was a nerd. He was a very and he is still very nice person. He wouldn't hurt anybody. But because of that, I took him to Aikido lessons so that he learned how to protect himself. And and he had to show that he learned that to other bullies around him. And that's how they stopped bullying him. So you need to learn some things to protect yourself sometimes. You don't have to use it, but even others knowing that now you can protect yourself, you can do something, they go away.
Yeah, my parents did that to me, when I was, I think, like 10 or something. They put me like on Kung Fu because I was a big fan of Bruce Lee, right? So they said that at least he can defend himself, right? Like, and because they got tired, I came home like with a nosebleed, and I hid all these things from my mother because in Latin America, like the culture is that you should not worry your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you should do, you should not make your mother cry. Like that's like a death thing to do in Latin America. Like don't make your mother cry. So I had to hide all these things. Like imagine I'm like 7 years old and I'm experiencing some things I would not even wish on my like worst enemy to experience in his childhood. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't tell her. I didn't tell her. I
Mm-hmm.
Before I went home, what I did is that I cried out before I went up. I cried out. I wiped away any blood if I have been beaten up, and then I went up home. That's what I did.
Yeah, it's too much for a little child to go through this. And my son went through that, and I understand 100% what he felt, because I could feel what he felt. He was so young. He was like 8 years old, and he's crying because there are other kids bullying him. And you cannot imagine that young kids being bullies like that. Uh, but it happens, and the education systems and the schools cannot even stop that, let alone get to a holistic education system.
Yeah, this if you're listening here, like if you're a principal or a school or like, come on, like it's not so hard. Like I've done a lot of things in my life. I can say I can tell something that is reality, that if you want to change something, you can do it. I have, like, everybody has told me, oh, like no, you can't do that. No, you will never build a company. No, like I done everything that I wanted actually, just with will, because I wanted, and then we just started to do it. Like, okay, what can we do? What you do is that you take one step at a time. Like, put some, I don't know, like gratitude training, compassion training. Like, it's not so complicated.
Absolutely. I mean, give kids some meditation, a little bit of yoga, all kinds of things that will trigger the sense of positivity, compassion, love for each other. It's not that hard, and there's a will, there's always a way. So
Yeah.
if you
I,
want something really bad, you definitely can make it happen.
I have something that I would use that I use myself, like when I discover like company politics, because I'm allergic to that. I'm allergic to things that work, that is company politics, and I'm allergic to micromanagers, actually. They burn out people. I don't like them. So what I do is that I put the people that are like not fully functional together with the people that maybe they affect, right,
Mhm.
to work together.
Of course.
Not on the same, not on a hierarchy level. I'm talking, they need to solve a problem, right? Because what happens is that when you talk to people, you understand that we are all alike. When you need to solve problems together, you come together, and that is so easy to do. It's not so complicated, actually. And that is the reason that, for example, we have company politics, because this kind of departments that becomes very big in a big corporate,
Mhm.
they have like, this person is the chief here, and this is the chief here, right? And everybody's fighting for the same budget that comes from above, right? So then we get this kind of separations because of power struggle, or like researchers say like territorial behavior. Actually, that is what they're doing. Like, they're being reptiles again, like they're back to the primal ages. So that's what I do. Like, we need to use our like intelligent part of the brain first of all, like, and we need to reflect, like, stop. That I actually do that now all the time. Like, before a meeting I reflect, after a meeting I reflect, when I speak to a person I reflect, before, after, during the talk,
Mhm.
to not break my values, actually, to not fall into negativity, to be the person I want to be. Because this is the thing. For me, it's a daily task, and I think it's for everybody. It's not like I'm going to this kind of be nice retreat this weekend, and when I come home I will stop hitting you. Like, it doesn't work like that. You need to change, and you need to practice all your life to be on the right track, actually.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's not a 3-day training thing that will change your life. Uh, and it's about deciding to be that person, because you decided to be who you want to be. You commit to it, and you continue being that person. And I wish everybody would be thinking that way, so that we would have much more conscious relationships, conscious conversations, and conscious get-togethers by people becoming a real team and working for each other, help each other to be successful together, rather than clash of powers. Because at the end of the day, you need to look at what you're working for. What is the main goal there? It's a goal. If you are working for a company, the goal is to create good products or whatever that company is creating together as a team, with the best quality, best output. So isn't should be everybody's goal there, so that you can work together towards that? Or just conflicts and not working together well, and politics, and uh, hitting someone on the back with a knife, and that kind of stuff uh, doesn't take you to too long? Does it take you further? So that's not the right way to do business. That's not the right way to create teams.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. And the thing with hate that is contagious. And when I was like I told you, I was like 17, 18, I was a totally different, like, I was not bullied anymore. And the problem was only that hate is contagious. So these smaller now haters like bullies and skinheads, they were afraid of me actually. I maybe used that in the wrong way. That is what I discovered, right? Because I was still the nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this like younger kind of Nazi, like he was terrified of me on the bus, when I looked at him. And that got to my heart, that got to my heart because I didn't see like a Nazi, like skinhead that I hated. In that moment, I saw another human that was equally afraid as I was when I was his age, looking at this older skinhead that was looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
That is when I discovered, like, maybe I'm becoming like them, How can I have failed so much in my life that I'm becoming one of the haters? Because he was afraid of me instead of thinking like nothing, like neutral or a positive thing, And that's why what I said, that I started to change, because I realized that hate is contagious, and I discovered so is love. So is love, and so is compassion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. Whatever you focus on grows. That's negative or positive, doesn't matter. When you focus on something, it grows in the universe. It grows in you, in the universe, in your vibrations that go out to the universe. So why not focusing on goodness, on positivity, on love, on compassion? Because
Yeah.
we all need that. Everyone in the world need that. And the ones who are the most negative are the ones who need that the most, actually.
Like I read about like The Rock. I read about all these people that are quite, like big and strong, and so many of them have the same story, like the child that was so afraid of the world because of all the harm that they were doing. So they started to build themselves up, like start with bodybuilding, and then they like train boxing like me, or all this kind of like martial art, right?
Yeah.
And some on the way, some of them, they went wrong actually. They took the dark path and became a tormentor themselves. I'm so happy that I didn't become that actually. I'm so happy for like all these famous people like The Rock, all of them that took the right path once they became this person that people will not mess with, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's good that you found the right path because, as you say, you're right. Many don't, unfortunately, and they go the wrong path. They and think about that. If they go the wrong path and they are role models to others around them, then they cause them to go the wrong path too.
This is a message to anybody that actually is a nerd like me and had to go what I went through, and maybe now are like stepping in the wrong direction. Please change. Please change. It's like, it's not so hard. Like, step to the side and walk another direction. That's how easy it is actually.
Well, sometimes circumstances might be difficult for some to choose the right path. Because think this way, if you're living in that environment day in, day out, and wherever you look, you see someone, a bully or a racist or someone with that kind of feelings and actions around you, obviously it's harder to be positive and be more at the side of being right and compassion and love side. But uh, still, we need to try. We need to try our best to be good people, to share the goodness we have in our hearts.
You're so right, because like this kind of, like, yeah, like this famous kind of like suburbs or areas, right, where, and when you grow in a hostile environment, it's eat or be eaten. If you're not strong, you will be eaten. Like nerds, they move out actually. Maybe they get a scholarship and they will never come back. That is a fact. Left is the predator that was bullied and became a predator. So any society, if you want to change, like, you need to work with these communities. You need to, like, you can't just hate on them because they're still humans, and they are there. There's a circumstances that if you grow up in a toxic environment like this, it's not like, oh man, now I will become a doctor. Like, it's like you don't even know any doctors. Like, what doctor do you know? Maybe like at the state hospital, that's the only doctor you will meet. Like once a year, maybe when somebody hurts you, you will go to that doctor.
Exactly. I mean, that's when someone is a bad person or doing bad things. Well, I feel bad for them for being raised in that kind of environment, because every child, every baby, when they come to this life, they come with goodness, with naivety, uh, with love, with all the positivity. But whatever they go through, the growing up makes them who they are, or the environment, the people around them. So it's not their mistake borning into that environment. It's not their fault. So that's how I see when I look at people. When I look at someone, even if they are mean, I see them as a little child. So when a baby borns, it's borns with all the positivity, all the love and compassion, and all the positive feelings. But it depends on in which environment they are born and how they are raised. So when I look at someone who's filled with hate and negative feelings and words, I see them as a young kid, little kid, and it's not really their fault to where they were born into. And really, I forgive them for not being conscious about who they could have became, but they didn't.
That
Because
is so beautiful. I totally agree on all that. I could listen to you all day because you preach my gospel, actually. The thing with the kid, I use that a lot when I like lecture, when I like have a new team that I need to build up or something, is that the same goes with creativity. Like, we are born creative. We're open with a free mind to think whatever. And school, they take us out of us, to become workers, to become part of the like clock, like the watch, like a cog wheel, or like Pink Floyd said, another brick on the wall, right? It's like we don't need all this creative Eduardo. Like, what would happen with like society, right? Like, what should we do with our factories? So I get that, but the thing is that, like, we need to be more shy. That is what I preach. We need to be more open in mind. We need to be like, just try, and if we fail, we just go up again. Like, there's a lot of research done, like about for example, like how many times does a child try to walk before they actually walk, right? And that's a lot of times. This is the thing, like, how many times do you fail in your life with a project or with a dream before you give up? Usually grown-ups, we're like tolerant, maybe like one try, then your like spouse would say like, I told you so, what did I tell you? And then you like stay calm for 1 year, and then maybe you try again, right? And then you fail again, and they will like, if you do that again, I will leave you. That's the problem that we have in society, that even if we have like the understanding that failures is part of the journey, we don't live it, actually. That is my conclusion.
Yes. Yeah.
Even I have a hard time living it. I have to be honest. Like it took me a lot of years before I came like I am today. That I just jump, and but still I hesitate a little. I will be honest about this. I still hesitate a little, not as much as other humans do, but I do.
Yes, it's hard, really, to fail a few times and still being able to go on, and trying again and again, just like a toddler would. But the ones who can do that end up being successful. The big names that we remember from our history, they all failed so many times. But the difference about them was, even though they failed, they kept going, they kept trying. That's how they got to the point they became. They brought things into our lives that we use today, every day. So failing is the part of the journey. If we can see it that way, then we don't put too much meaning on them, and we just move on and see what we have learned from it, actually, so that we can use it next time, so that maybe we won't fail then.
Failure is part of the journey. I don't know how many times I've written that in my post and my articles. Like, I should tattoo that one, actually. I said it so many times, and that is what I have so hard time with, like with the success community, like that have all this like success coaching and success workshops, you know. Not all of them, but the ones that like they only talk about like the success part. Like you can't teach that. You need to teach like you need to teach how to fail and move forward. Actually, that is what you should teach, because that is life. It's not like now I go to your course and tomorrow I will have like this castle. It doesn't work like that. Reality is not like that.
Yes.
Reality is about the most committed, the one that is willing to take the highest risk, and the one that I would say, like in my case, a person that succeed by any means necessary without breaking the values. For me, that is so important. Like I would do anything to succeed with anything that I want to do, but not if it crosses my values. If it hurts another person, if it's something that is not aligned with what I believe in heart, like the values, I will back down. Even if it's like, I don't care how much money is in front of me. Like I can make money. Like that, for me, that's not the thing. I want change. I want to impact. I want to humanize the workplace. I want to humanize leadership. And I believe that from the heart, actually. It's not like something that I'm saying like, oh, there's a well-being kind of thing going on. I need to join that thing, you know. In my case, it's not. When I say that, I mean that.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we're building something together, right? Like we have something together going on. Me, Ipek, and a lot of people in the community. Actually, we came together. And it's coming soon, hopefully, like not so far after New Year's. It's going to be an article. There's a lot of things that will happen, actually, but we're uniting forces now to humanize the workplace and leadership, and to make people be more talking about their human side. That don't hide it. Like I haven't, since I came online 2 years ago, I said it all. I told about, I had 20 years of depression. I had all these things. And nobody has like told me like, oh, no, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. Big people have come to me and said, finally, somebody's talking. And they have talked to me.
It's important that we don't forget in the workplace that we are all human, at work, at home, everywhere. And we need to respect each other. And a few minutes ago, the things that you said, you just described integrity. What you said was, you have the integrity because you wouldn't do something even if you know that it would be good for you, but it's going to be bad for someone else.
Thank you. Usually I don't like people that compliment. Like I don't like to like people compliment me, because I have a hard time with like maybe from being so damaged in life by negativity, but the thing that you said right now, I take it to full heart, and I say thank you so much for saying that.
Mhm.
That made me happy.
That's great. And Eduardo, you need to get used to receiving compliments, receiving good words, because you deserve it.
I'm working with Kevin Reader on that actually, but it goes up and down. I can tell you, it's not fully worth with me, and maybe it never will, because my biggest thrill in life today, or like that makes me feel fulfilled as a human, as a man, as Eduardo, is making others grow. I'm quite satisfied with life, you can say, but I'm not satisfied with the situation that we are in. That I'm far from satisfied, and that's where I put my energy. Actually, I want to change things. I want to improve.
Yes, and we are so alike, you and I, Eduardo, because I relate with everything you say. I don't want much in my life. I just want to help people. I just want to see uh, as many people as possible to be connected with themselves and others as human beings, living in a nice, beautiful, love-filled environment, be it at home or at work.
I like that. Actually, we forgot about one thing more. We were talking about Ikigai.
Ikigai. Yes,
I
yes.
never get these words right.
It's okay. So Ikigai is it's so funny. Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian practice, and Ikigai is a Japanese practice. I'm all dealing with two tools that I use, which are both from different islands, and it's a concept that means a reason for being. That word refers to having a meaningful direction or purpose in life. So constituting the sense of one's life being made worthwhile, with actions taken towards achieving uh, your ikigai, resulting in satisfaction and a sense of meaning to life. In Japan, there's this one of the small islands, I cannot remember the name now, uh, and there they don't retire, they never retire. Yes, ikigai, it's the
This is so beautiful. This is the most beautiful artwork I have seen. I don't know in how many years. I need to print this one out. I need to put it on the wall.
exactly, it's about finding what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. So when you find the uh, the dot point, the center point of it, it's your ikigai. I found my ikigai being coaching, being a life coach, because I love doing it, and I believe I'm good at it, and I get some payment for it. And I think at this moment, world really needs good coaches, because we are going through so much stress. Life was already very stressful. On top of it, this pandemic happened, and there's more stress than ever out there. So world and everyone needs that too. So it's my ikigai, really.
I'm still amazed by everything that I stand for is in this. Everything I preach,
Yeah.
everything I lecture about is in this image.
Yeah, I use this.
This is so amazing.
Yeah, I use this tool for my coaching too. With some clients, we work only on this ikigai to find their life purpose, especially for young generations, like young men and women at university or college, or they are getting there at high school even. It's so important because they find the what is the best approach for them, what would be the best thing for them to go with, to choose which university to go, what subject to take, or for people who are going through a major change in their life. Ikigai helps them plan their next chapter. People who are getting retired, especially, benefit from it a lot, because when you retire, you feel like you're useless, but you're not. And with this practice, you help them find a new life purpose for the rest of their life. So it is a very interesting and very helpful tool, Ikigai.
Thank you so much, Ipek. We finally had this talk, right? We finally did the actual podcast, and I still haven't asked you the big question because we have talked so much, but I so appreciate that we just went with the win today. And now I will not let you go until you answer the magical question that all the guests ask Eduardo. But you said you told us so much now, so I think I will go straight to the point. Like, tell us that story. Like, what propelled Ipek to make this leap to that passion that you have today? This amazing person with all this amazing knowledge, helping people all around the world. Like, what made you take that leap? Like, what was the defining moment?
The defining moment was an adversity, really. A job that I took that didn't work out, and I was very upset. Really, I went through so hard times, and then I thought I need to do something with my life, because this is not who I want to be. I want to help people. I want to do something, and I didn't know what at the time. And I meditated, and I reflected, read lots of books, and I really I took a wellness sabbatical, let's say, for myself, and I searched my soul to find out what I can be, who I can be, what, and I got to that Ikigai idea, and I searched, and I found that this is what I want to do. I want to help people. And I had a friend who's a relationship coach, and she guided me to become a coach, getting some training on it, and learning how and what I need to become a good coach. And I took the training and everything, and today who I am is because of my friend who understood me really, and who really pushed me towards the right path to become who I am. And along the way, I let it flow, really. I went with the flow, and everything from Ho'oponopono or Ikigai or any tool that I have, anything I learned, the universe just through coincidences and through serendipity brought to my life. And I realized those are my the interests, and I went for them, and I learned more. And it's really the universe made me who I am.
Remember, like, the first time that I started to discover all these things, like with mindfulness, and I discovered first Carlos Castaneda, and from there I think like this kind of journey started for me, like with spirituality, like not like just the classical one, like I'm talking about it. And then it's like somebody said this expression to me. They said, like, or are you talking about New Age, Eduardo?
New Age.
And I just look at this person, New Age, what does that mean? Do you know that all these things that I'm talking about has been there for thousands and thousands and thousands of years? We modern society, like we, the people living in the matrix, because that's actually what we do. We live in the matrix.
Yeah.
We are the ones that have forgotten about this. We live in our plastic bubble, like outer happiness, like people buying all this luxury stuff just to me, just to be accepted and like think that they feel good inside. Maybe they even don't actually. And we have just forgotten. We disconnected with nature. We disconnected with the universe, and we just disconnected from what everybody's connected with. In like even in the Amazons, like people that some look down upon are more connected than you actually. That's the fact, you know. You're the magic person. That Amazon person is actually the earth person. Like you're the disconnected one. It's not like the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the ones who can realize that, uh, they change their way of living. They change the way they look at life. They see that luxurious, materialistic things are not the way to go. The way to go is within yourself.
And we're the positivity contagious people. You, me, Dimitri, David Aginter, Kevin Reader. Yeah, I could go on all day with the people that we have in our network that I truly believe is going to make a change.
Yes, yes, yeah, and hopefully more and more people will choose to follow this kind of values and views, and they will share it with us, and we will share it with them.
I will end up with just sharing what we're going to release actually, because I already showed it in one of my recordings. I will just have to, now it's too late because you're one of the members, actually one of the main persons behind this thing together in the community. So I will just show it. Here we go. So we have come together, people from the community that wants to raise awareness and be there for other people, because actually the thing with burnout and like all the things that is happening now with COVID, like well-being is actually going down. It's like not going, it's not like becoming something that, oh, we're like actually lowering anxiety, depression, and burnouts. It's actually the opposite. And the thing is that the companies are not addressing it because most of them, I would say, they don't know how to do it. So that is what we want to address. We want to be there to educate. And I would say that in our community, I'm one of the messengers. I'm actually not a coach. I coach, but in totally different areas. But Ipek, she's the coach. Kevin Reader, David Aginter, like I said, I could name drop all day long. Karian Engeland, yeah. So many people that are coming together to make a change, raise awareness, and do things together because it's needed.
Yes, it is. It is very sorely needed, actually.
Now I know what the category I was. I was in the survivor group, something like that. People that had survived like a burnout or like years of depression, and they learned how to deal with that. So they can now enlighten others and give hope to how can they do it. But I have to remind people, and like David Aginter said, actually, there's no blueprint. Like everybody needs to do their own journey. Like what worked for me will maybe not work for you. To come back from a burnout, the same goes with the depression I had for many years. I found my way, and everybody needs to find their way. And the way you do that is by talking with people that knows, like Ipek Williamson. Thank you for coming to the show, and it was so amazing. Is there something you want to share with the audience before you go?
Well, it's a pleasure always talking with you, Eduardo, and I'm so glad to be a part of this new concept of well-being at work. And I'm sending everyone love, on this holiday season. I hope everyone has a great time, and I'm hoping that 2021 brings everyone everything they are looking for, and it brings an end to this pandemic, and we can go back to a safer, better world.
And people that have been listening now and they want to reach out to you, what is the best communication channel to reach you? Like a company maybe that wants to get like started with well-being, or somebody, a leader or somebody that wants to improve their life.
Yes, they can reach me on my website. It's Ipek Williamson Coaching, or through LinkedIn. I'm quite active on LinkedIn. I'm always there. I check direct messages all the time. And my contact information is there too. So
Ipek Williamson Coaching, right? I will put all the details on the description of this video. And you're also a founding member, actually, in One Golden Nugget. And that's the most amazing network I have been in a long time, I have to say.
And my member number is 55. I like that very much too. I like recurring numbers. 00555 is my number, so I like that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I pronounce the two words one more time before you go.
It's Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono.
And Ikigai.
Ikigai. I could say them.
Good.
There's
Great.
hope. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So
Eduardo Live is out.
just give me a buzz. Lean on me, yeah.